Hello, everybody. Welcome to TolkienGuide. We are here for our annual year-end wrap-up for 2025. We're just a few days late getting into 2026 to do that, but it was busy holidays for all of us. And very exciting look forward at 2026, which happens to be the 20th anniversary year of TolkienGuide.com. We've been around a long time. We're getting a little ancient and creaky in the knees, if you
Yeah.
will.
I think we can
So
also mention as well, just in case anyone lives under a rock and doesn't realise, but it is somebody's birthday today as well.
that is
Uh,
also true.
so
Yes.
we
So
could we
to
could
the
mention that.
professor, little
The
little toast
professor,
to him.
yes.
That's right. We yeah, we've had a great year on Tolkien Guide itself. We obviously we're a couple years into the guide to Tolkien's letters, which is a big research and scholarly database that we've been working on. In 2025, we added almost 400 new letters to the guide, about 140 of which were from J.R.R. Tolkien himself, and thousands of tags and references on those to help scholars, researchers, and fans understand more about what's in the letter, where we found it, where it's stored or archived, cross-referencing, etc. And of course, 2026 will be another long slog through books, archives, cross references, Reddit, Facebook, all these sources for where these letters crop up. It's amazing every year how many just come out of the woodwork and are basically freshly discovered for fan letters, especially. When a family finds one and posts it, it's always interesting to see those, and we get some good quotes and a little bit more visibility into Tolkien. Um, in 2025, we also launched the Guide to Tolkien calendars, which when other Phil, not the Phil on screen here, but the one who Parmasta here, who built the TolkienCalendars.com, it kind of went fallow at the end of 2016. He didn't have the time or the access to keep his site updated, so it kind of stalled out with about 430 calendars in 2016. And so 9 years, almost on the 10th anniversary, we worked with him quite closely, rebuilt it as a fully searchable, interactive, uh, editable calendar guide. We're already approaching 500 calendars in it. It is up to date, up to 2026 calendar editions, and we're adding more all the time. So,
We do think there's some missing though from 2026, don't we? I think Phil put a post on saying that he doesn't think we've got all the calendars. So if
oh,
anyone knows
absolutely.
of any that are missing,
Yep.
please add them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's the philosophy of that guide is specifically Tolkien calendars, so art relating to Tolkien and his works. We're not putting the Peter Jackson movie-based calendars in there. We're probably going to have a side guide or something specifically for those as we gather the information for that. But fan calendars are certainly something that Phil and myself and other collectors are interested in, and so even discovering, an artist who has an Etsy page and they've printed, 5 copies of a calendar for their friends, those are certainly just as interesting as the official ones from HarperCollins that get printed in the tens of thousands. So it's a fun hunt to go through those, and of course it's built on a guide infrastructure that is reusable. And so I know Phil's been working on a bibliography guide. I'm working on a fanzines and publications guide. Andrew and Chad are working on a books guide. And we've got ephemera, reviews, interviews. There's a lot in the works behind the scenes that we hope to be launching sometime in 2026. And because we just mentioned him, I do want to send out we miss you, Chad. He's just not feeling well today, so he's not going to hop on camera, but he's a huge part of TolkienGuide.com, and you're gonna see a lot of him in 2026 as well.
Um, One other, well, we've had lots of people who've helped us with various things last year. But one thing that I would quite like to mention is that we do have a new editor in our letters guide, which some people may have heard of before. Sean Marchese. He used to be on a very small podcast, I think. But now he's with the. Now he's actually already proven to be a very, very helpful addition to the letters guide, particularly doing some of the letters that we think, well, they're too complicated for us to have a look at. And Sean's very well jumped in and taken them on, and some of the stuff that he's done is really, really excellent. It's a great addition to the team.
Yeah, and that's always true. If you have knowledge, skills, a collection that you would like to see on TolkienGuide and want to set up your own guide or help work on one of the existing ones, please do reach out. It's a team effort. We're always growing. We always need help of people who have knowledge that we do not, and we've got big plans. It's going to need a hell of a lot more than 4 or 5 or 6 people to keep all this moving and accurate and accessible for everybody as we go through this. Yeah, so what else about TolkienGuide? For 2025, we had our events calendar. We used to call it the calendar, but with the guide to Tolkien calendars, we're now calling it events. But it does cover published books, auctions, gatherings, moots, and book releases, media like movies and games, etc. It is quite dense at the moment. We had a lot of events in 2025, and hopefully functionally will be improved in 26 to make it more.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's the 5th anniversary this year of the calendar. I think we started it 5 years ago, and I don't know how many events we put in there. There must be thousands and thousands of them since then, but we really have, one of the aims of the events was that if you have any sort of vague interest in Tolkien, you should keep an eye on the events calendar, because hopefully there'll be something in there that's of interest to you, and I think we've achieved that to a certain degree. It's
if you want to look at previous books.
I had some of the stats. Sorry, go ahead, Phil.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were overlapping there. The past releases for the calendar is a great tool as well for people who might have missed a book in the past, want to find a link to Amazon or other sales pages. They're all there. So there's been some great books in 2025, of course, which are all gathered there, and you can find links to them very easily. So the events page, previously calendar, is a great tool, one I use a lot.
Yeah, some of the stats I pulled out for 2025 was we did track 38 book releases that were Tolkien related, which sounds huge when you think about the fact that he hasn't been around for quite a long time. But
well, I'm sure there's more than that as well. I don't think we've got all of them.
We are very English language focused, just from the skill set of our team, but we've got some members from Brazil and France and Spain who let us know about publications in their languages, and those are tracked in here as well. And if you are aware of Tolkien related books that are being published, especially not in English, please let us know. There should be a form soon to submit things directly in, but you can contact us directly in the interim to let us know of books that are coming out. Trotter, you've done an excellent job. I found 200 events from 31 countries that were in our event guide over the last year.
And to be honest, and I always get annoyed now when I've missed one. And there's quite a few big events that I didn't put in there because I didn't know about them. So basically, I think what Jeremy said is, if there's something that you see that's missing from the events, please let us know, because it's not going to go in there unless we find out about it somehow. So see something's missing, let us know.
Yep. 17 notable auctions that we spotted. So those would be, first editions, signed books, inscriptions, letters, things that are above and beyond, an interesting eBay auction, for example. These are major events that go for big dollars. And yeah, I got an email from Biblio a couple days ago that said their highest priced sale of 2025 was a Tolkien book and letter combination, which we previously had in our letters guide because it showed up on the market in 2023, but it was resold for. So it was a letter from Tolkien, a letter from Joy Hill, and a set of first edition Lord of the Rings that sold for $35,000 on Biblio. So there's certainly a market for Tolkien signatures, etc. And last on the events was media. We had a slow year. Only Tales of the Shire was really something that we covered in there. I expect in the coming years with Peter Jackson, Warner Brothers films, future seasons of Rings of Power, etc. Will probably trigger a bit more event calendar tracking events.
And we are keen on covering those as well. I think people think that we're not, but some people don't like them. And my approach to that is we try and hide them away so you don't have to look at them if you're not interested. But we do want to cover them. we do want to cover these things.
Yeah,
I would be remiss if I didn't say that musical chapters from The Lord of the Rings is technically media. It is an adaptation, and of course I worked on it, which was wonderful. We released that in September, but we treat that more as a sort of book because Paul Caulfield Godfrey, the composer, uses Tolkien's actual words, which he's been allowed to by his permission from the estate. But it is technically media, so that was a pretty good one as well.
But yeah, on our events calendar, it was flagged as a book. That's why it didn't show up in the media releases. But you're right, and probably should be able to.
Well, that's because I put it in wrongly in that case. It's not a book, is it?
It came with a book. There's a very nice book.
Oh, it's a book. Yes.
There is a book, and the libretto does have Tolkien's actual words in it, so it is a book as well. Yes.
Yep. For book releases, while we're on that subject, as I mentioned, 38.
It's a book.
There's the book right there. So we tracked 38. My notes in front of me have 20 or so that were notable. I don't want to just read through the list, but do you guys have any particular memories of books you enjoyed coming out this year? We had the Bovadium Fragments. We had Joel Mariner's art book in the Soviet bloc. Well, I thought was fantastic.
Doomed to Die was very good. I like that
love
one.
Doomed to Die. That was a great story and a chat with Tom.
And we've got, and I think the Michael Trout book as well, The Town on the Ruin, was one of the highlights again.
Yeah, I feel HarperCollins went deep with the signed limited Lord of the Rings. That was extremely collector focused and pricey.
And pricey.
I was really pleased, I have to say, that HarperCollins released Doomed to Die. I know it's different and it is more of a gifty sort of item, but I think it's a great story. I think it's a real success of 2025. Tom, you guys talked to him. I was in the background, and he's just such a wonderful guy who had such a unique story of something that began on social media and grew organically through likes, word of mouth, so to speak. And I really enjoyed that was released. It was small, and some people didn't like it. But of course, you'll never please everybody. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great to see something different that wasn't just reprints of the same things. But on that note of reprints, I actually really appreciated the Deluxe Hobbit as well that Andrew and I covered. A brilliant price for a really well presented book that actually matches the previous Lord of the Rings as well, which was great news. So yeah, there was some great stuff last year. I'm still reading Michael Drout's book, but I am enjoying it very much. The mixture of academia and personal information from it, how kind of Tolkien feels to him, I think it was is a great thing. But I'm still working through that book, so I can't really say I love the book, but I love what I've read so far.
It's a great book. I really enjoyed reading it, and our chat with Michael was fantastic.
Now, obviously, we've also had a few books that didn't come out quite so well in the first place. The obvious one for that is the graphic novel of The Hobbit with pages missing. However, to give credit to HarperCollins, they have re-released it with as a second impression with the pages put in, which wasn't an easy job to do. They've managed to fit them all in. They are actually quite different if you have both versions, because they had to squeeze stuff in the back to try and reduce the size of some of the images. And they've also, in the UK, you can get a free replacement from them. I'm still not sure what's happening with the with William Morrow, but in the UK ones you get a free replacement. They didn't have to do that. I know. I'm just pleased they did, and I think that's a nice thing to do for people. They were genuinely mortified that those pages were missing. They've put an awful lot of effort into this, and to find out that a couple of pages are missing was not. It wasn't deliberate. It was a complete mistake, and it was a shame that it happened. But I think they've handled it quite well.
Yeah,
how they dealt with
mistakes happen. It got past.
Yeah.
I think they had 5-6 people's eyes were looking at that,
including David Wenzel, who actually was the illustrator. He had looked at it as well. So it was it was a shame it happened, but I think it was handled properly.
They've been working hard to give good customer service on that. They owned up to it and have done
yes,
their
they did
best to fix it, etc. So
we've also had the box sets that are still coming out. The Great Tales one came out last year, and I really like these. I think these are great for someone who wants to have a collection of hardbacks that look nice on the shelf and all fit together. These box sets are great. But the other thing that I really like as well is the signature paperbacks. I just think it's a great. It's been
a great line. The design looks good, and the fact that they're releasing so many titles and giving them refreshes and getting them back in print in that line is.
And I don't believe that they have finished. I did hear that they're aiming for a certain number would be quite nice, and they're nowhere near that. I'm not saying what the number is, but they're nowhere near that number at the moment. So I think there should still be a few more coming out to actually for people to collect and have a what looks really good again on the shelf. They're very they match very well.
They do. I can kind of see some spines there behind you on the shelves.
They're all up here in mine. Yeah.
And now that they're doing scholarly editions of secondary sources,
like Tom Shippey's book, for instance,
So there's certainly quite a few that they can pull out and add to that line that will be very, very, very good reads.
To Mr. Underhill's question about Inklings for 2026, obviously, to be completely clear, if we did know of any, we'd obviously have to not speak about those until HarperCollins gave permission. I actually feel sorry for HarperCollins. They make plans to release books, announce them, and then someone like Amazon just jumps the gun, and they don't get it. And then there's no point in them doing any marketing. But obviously, we do know about the Myths and Legends volume or box 2, which I am really pleased about. I know there was some negativity on Reddit about the price, but £100 for those 5 books, 2 of which are actually, one of which is difficult to come by in hardback, and the other one is almost impossible without remortgaging your house. It's impossible for 99% of us. So I am really excited by that. The Old English Exodus will be a great volume to put back into available print. So
and I'm sure a few people will actually read it as well who buy it. Not many, probably, but a few. It's an easy read. It's a tough one.
Yeah, a few of us will read it.
It's not like reading by any stretch of the imagination.
The retail price of £100. If you follow TolkienGuide's posts, we do regularly announce their 50% off sales. So it's certainly feasible to get that for a little over £10 per volume. And so spending
Which is
spending
very
12,
good
13
for
pounds for the Old English Exodus is, I don't know how they could do better than that for a good condition hardcover. It's
Absolutely.
And as far as I'm aware, it's never been published in the US, so it'll get a US printing as well for the first time, and that'll be the first time it's ever printed.
Yeah.
In
And
that,
Finn and
Hengest
is in that book, is in that box as well. And while they do come up, they don't come up reasonably cheap, and they often come up battered. So I'm really excited for that box. If there was something I hope that HarperCollins release in 2026 in that series, it would be the sort of treasures, the Tales from the Perilous Realm, Smith of Wotton Major, those books. Not to criticise too much, but those little pocket collections of them that have scholarly commentary in them, I find quite useless. So I would love it if they got those books into a standard
larger
hardcover
size
with a slipcase and have those as a standard. I understand if they still have plenty of the pocket ones and they're worried about putting out a better box, but I would appreciate it if they released that. Any hopes for the new year, guys, for HarperCollins?
Well, I was pleased that the biography is coming out again, because that hasn't been out in hardback since Alan and Unwin. That was the last time in the UK. But I would really like, at some point, I'd like a new version of that book. So I'm hoping that, like the letters was revised, I would like to see a revised biography as well, because I think there's an awful lot's happened since that book came out that should also that should be included.
Long overdue for an official, approved by the estate, published by the HarperCollins team biography update. I think would be fantastic to come out at some point.
And we know that they've obviously done that with letters, which was quite successful. So hopefully, well, the difference with letters, though, it was already all written. So I suppose they already had that. This isn't.
That was low hanging fruit when they were able to restore the original untrimmed manuscript from Christopher and Humphrey.
Yeah.
I would love to see more letters published. We know.
Well, that'd be good, wouldn't it? That'd be quite nice.
You asked me for.
We have a few of them.
We know a couple.
We know they exist.
I
I would love to see a Hobbit and Lord of the Rings refresh with a new artist.
Yes.
If we're just talking wish list here, I think we're overdue for the Lord of the Rings to be illustrated
By Jemima Catlin, please.
Well, there's
the
plenty of artists
calendar,
out there. But
the calendar that's coming out this year, the 2027 one, is I think it's new artists all doing portraits of Bilbo for the Hobbit. So there are more artists, and I'd like to see the books as well. I agree on that.
On the new releases, we should of course mention that the revised letters will have a deluxe release. Being the guide to Tolkien's letters, we obviously, all four of us, will probably have that. And to James's question about whether the release of the Old English Exodus will affect the price of the original, I'm not an expert, but I don't believe that the History of Middle-earth hardback boxes coming out affected the prices of the originals of the more difficult to find History of Middle-earth. So I don't see why it would affect the price of an original Old English Exodus. I think people who want an original want an original. I don't imagine that market will change too much. So I would think it won't affect it too much.
Another good comparison would be the Unwin's Remembrancer, which Unwin's family republished, a new edition of that. Also did a signed slipcase edition of it that was limited in numbers. And I haven't seen any serious change in the prices that the original editions are going
No,
for.
but it did make it
It
available for people to
did
read.
make it
It's a
available.
really good book, and
Very good.
that was the important thing. I think it made it available. And the same with Exodus. If you're interested in that, you get an opportunity to read it, and I suspect a lot of us will be going through that book once
Yep.
once it comes out.
Neil, sorry,
Nope,
Neil,
sorry.
I am reading Beppe Pizzini's book at the moment, and he will be sending me a copy of his new book. I know there's some issues with publication at the moment, but that will be released this year, and that will be on Tolkien and G.B. Smith. So we will review it at some point when I have finished reading it, but I am reading it at the moment. I'm enjoying it very much, and I really like that he has lots of references to the Guide to Tolkien's Letters as well. I say with some pride.
Well, that's always good. Yes.
We've started
Absolutely.
noticing some of those. I noticed Michael Drought had a note in his Tower in the Ruin. He referred
Yeah,
to
there is a
an
reference to our
unpublished
guide. Yeah, that's nice.
letter. I wanted to pop back over to Ian. Had a question about. I put the wrong one up. Sorry.
Oh, that's the one about Eastern
Yeah.
Press, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pull that question up. It seems pretty evident that Easton Press is putting out limited editions of almost anything that HarperCollins does for not the box sets, but single volumes. And they're doing signed editions of secondary works now. We've seen Don Marshall's book has just been announced, released as a signed
Do we think
edition.
they'll do an old English Exodus? There we go.
I was just thinking that myself. I don't know what the rights situation is specifically with that one because it was an Oxford University Press title. Obviously, HarperCollins has an arrangement, but that doesn't necessarily mean it trickles down to something that Eastern Press could get access to for the rights to that. But that would be fun if they were able to get to do. I mean, they did the Lay of Atru and Patroon.
Yeah.
There's some pretty.
Have they done
niche-
Finn and Hengist? They haven't done that one, have they? So
They have
there's
not, and that's
no.
that. I think the market for people who actually want to read that is small enough. Easton Press probably didn't go for it, which probably means the Old English Exodus is also in a similar bucket.
Yes.
I'd just like to point out that James Talbot says that firsts of the history of Middle Earth are going up in price, not down. So yeah, going back to the Exodus, I think that might hold true there as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a good year on YouTube, even though my head was not in the right space to keep it going as a very regular video updates. But we still had over a dozen good interviews and live streams last year, and I know we're this segues really nicely into our 2026 planning because it's as our 20th anniversary. We've got big ideas, big plans for what we want to do this year as well. But it's certainly a part of our team to try and have multiple channels out there where we're publishing content and getting some face time, getting people, getting authors and creators, a little bit more exposure and helping fans understand what's coming out and the people that are behind them.
Yeah. So obviously, I think we can now go talk a bit more about our 20th anniversary.
Yep.
It does seem, well, it doesn't really seem like it was yesterday since we first started, but I think we have talked about how the site started quite a few times. But one of the things that I think at the time, though, when we did start, was that I didn't think, I'm pretty sure Jeremy didn't think that we would still be going 20 years later. You probably thought it'd only be a couple of years, and then something else will come along, and that will be the end of the site. I think it's not just us who were involved with it, but it's the fact that there's so many people visit the site and look at the stuff, and obviously we've even gone so far as we won a Tolkien Society award. It's been very nice experience, And we've done a bit of rebranding, which people would probably have noticed, that we've actually changed the name to TolkienGuide.com. And I think I've said this before, but I may as well bring this up again. This isn't a reflection that we don't like collectors. We're all collectors. We're very much, but where the name changes come up is because I've certainly had people come up to me and said, I don't go to your site because I'm not a collector, even though I suspect that person really was a collector. They don't want to admit it. They don't want to come out the closet and say I'm a collector. So they didn't come to the site, and we don't want to put people off. We want people. We want to be inclusive, let everyone come, but we also still want it to be the best place for collectors, and we're going to carry on with that. That's not going away. We definitely want it to be the number one site for people who are collectors, and we'd like it to get more people who aren't.
We haven't moved away from collectors at all.
No.
The collectors who were here are still here. All we have done is expanded into other areas. So the guides, I'm working on a new bibliography that allows people to search. Obviously, we can't, like the letters, we can't disclose the text, but people will be able to search entries and find where Tolkien mentioned, say, Beowulf, for instance, what volumes they're mentioned in, and they'll learn more about what volumes Tolkien is actually included in that form a primary part of his bibliography. On Neil's question about Hammond and Skull and a bibliography, I don't have any information. I know that Wayne Hammond has wanted to update his bibliography. It's been mentioned a couple of times. Whether that will happen, I don't have any information on. But I imagine we will be one of the first to tell people if it does.
We certainly will. Unfortunately, I think the person put Hammond and Skull bibliography, which isn't true. It's Hammond and Anderson, and that's
It is
the
Hammond and
difference.
Anderson, yes.
It's not Hammond and Skull. If it was Hammond and Skull, I would expect that they would have probably done it by now. So I think that Doug's been so busy with other stuff, and so when it's been hard to do this.
Yeah,
they're working on lots of projects all at the same time.
The contracted projects like the collected poems, etc., really, pulled all of the oxygen out of the room for the passion projects they wanted to work on. I've heard them mention, Pauline Baines, like a bibliography of her art is something I know they were interested in working on. Wayne's mentioned, updating the bibliography.
And Doug's been doing the annotated Hobbit for a long time as well, isn't he? A third version of that. So they're all been working really hard. I just think they haven't had time to do it.
Yeah, but I wanted to circle back on the collector's comments you were making, Andrew, and say, the knowledge repository in the collectors, in ourselves and everybody else, is sort of what we're trying to leverage and expose to everyone else. Rather than saying this is a site for you to collect, we're saying, hey, these collectors have an incredible amount of knowledge and can help lots of people, can help fans find the edition they remembered from a child, help scholars who are looking for, really obscure factoids and where was this published, and did Tolkien ever talk about female orcs? There's questions like that come up, and between the work that we're doing, the work that James and Star Stuff are doing on the Digital Tolkien Project, and other sites like TolkienBooks.net, TolkienBooks.us, and there's a lot of fantastic work that's going out there. The Tolkien Gateway, the open data exchange repositories that we're working on. It's a great time to be someone interested in Tolkien, and the amount of information that's becoming available for people to use is one of the things that we wanted to focus on, rather than just naming ourselves as by and for collectors. It's still by and for collectors, but it's so much more than that. And it always has been, but it's something we're trying to elevate and expose a little bit more to our users.
I'd just like to say, by the way, that in 20 plus 20 plus 20, I will be 104, and these two gentlemen will be older than me still.
And we'll probably be older than the old Took. That's,
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a legacy plan on how
yes.
the site transfers through, you know, the administrators, et cetera, and lives on long past when I think I'll have the mental fortitude to keep it going. So yeah, let's we
On our
got
20th,
uh-huh, yeah.
shall we mention our stream, our
Yeah,
ideas for
Yes.
it?
absolutely. That's
Yes.
sort of your baby, Phil. So you
Yeah, so in October, we decided because it's 20 years, we would actually do a 20-hour live stream, one weekend in October, probably. And I am currently getting guests together, activities, things we can do, highlights of our videos on YouTube, a best of the books, maybe scholarly books and books actually by Tolkien. There's a lot of them, of course, from 2006 to 2025, that 20 years of release. So we will have little quizzes, maybe some little prizes. I know that at least one of our collectors will offer up a quite nice prize. So yeah, in October this year, we will have a 20-hour live stream, and any of you who want to actually stick around for the 20 hours are welcome. We will spread it out between the four of us so that we at least can have a bite to eat and get some fresh air. But that is one of our plans for this year. Which is ambitious, but we will get it done. I'm currently putting together 20 hours, and I've got about 8 hours covered so far, I think. So anybody who would like to join us, whether you are an academic, a collector, there will be a round table with different societies and clubs. They can come along and talk together. So if you want to join us, get in touch with me directly at the website, and we'll get you slotted in on one of the times, whether it's UK or Europe or America, and we will put together the right time for you to come and join us, talk about collecting or academia. We will have some academics and published Tolkien authors as well, so it should be quite exciting. Come and join us for that.
yeah, absolutely. We'll do some chats with, I'm hoping with some artists. We'll get some good visual presentations going there. We've got a few I'm sure would be quite happy to jump on. We'll do some giveaways. I've got some physical books set aside, etc. And just make a party out of it and have some fun. It's We'd love to do it something in person. Um, we're not certain what our presence will be. We're hoping to see some of you at Westmoot and possibly at Oxenmoot to celebrate.
If we can do it, we
we can
will,
do it.
but we can't make any guarantees around that
Yep.
because it's where we don't know, but hopefully we'll definitely be doing the live stream.
We're waving our hands at the wider world and just trying
Mm.
to shine a little light on Tolkien and enjoy ourselves because man, there's so much going on that's just got nothing to do with Tolkien, but we have to find the things that bring us pleasure while we're dealing with everything else in the world. So
Absolutely.
yeah, but speaking of giveaways, I just wanted to, just for fun, for the people here who are here live, I've got some Kindle books from the US. If you guys want to drop a comment in on here if you're interested in something. The only thing I have from the UK is a nice Hobbit edition if somebody needs that. I'm figuring most of you already have those, of course. I can do a full set in the US of the history of Middle Earth if somebody wants a chunk of 12 ebooks that are searchable and cross-referenceable, etc. The Great Tales is a possible set. Anyway, drop me a note real quick if somebody's looking for some ebooks. I know it's hard to give these away to people who've been reading for years with him because it's something we all tend to accumulate over time. But please let me know if you're interested. How about a set of collected poems? I'm sure somebody out there would love an ebook of the collected poems. Regardless, what else do we need to talk about? It's been fun. It's been a great year. It's been a great 20 years. We're
It
not going to
has.
do our 20th celebration here, but
Well, it's a whole year is our 20th
It's going to be a
celebration.
really good
It's a
year.
whole
Yeah.
year.
I just want to say to the previous mods on that note, I was very honoured to become a sheriff here, which seemed a natural progression with our guides and everything else in the end. I spend so much time with the guys. So I've now become one of the sheriffs, and obviously over the 20 years there's been a lot of them, and some of them are still with us, and enjoying their collecting, and they move on to other things, and they don't have the time to dedicate to moderating chats and dealing with the infrastructure of websites and things. So yeah, we will talk about those more. Maybe we can get some of them on our 20th stream.
Well, I'd like to do that to get
Yeah.
the previous mods to come back onto the. We actually haven't had that many, to be honest. It's not that many mods. We've actually kept. It's only been a few, and I think that's another nice thing about the site. Really, is we've kept it small scale as opposed to some other sites where you end up with hundreds of mods and things. We've kept it quite small, and I think that helps with the way the site works.
Yeah. It's been a great team. It was a great year. We've got more good stuff coming. And I want to thank you two for jumping on here. I want to say again, apologies from Chad. He wasn't feeling well. We really miss him. It's great having him on these chats, and we'll have him on. I'm sure, I know we've got something planned just a few weeks out that Chad and I will be doing an interview. We've got more of that scheduling out into this year, so you'll see more of him. We miss him today, but he was a big part of 2025, obviously. It will be of 26.
And I think we can finish probably on what I started with, which is whose birthday it is today. So the whole thing is all around really one person and his family, and all the marvellous things that he's done for everyone. So I think without him being born in 1892, we wouldn't be doing any of this. So I think we can end up with a toast to the professor.
Professor.
And, to the professor.
To the professor, absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, and thanks everybody for listening in. And we look forward to seeing you more all this year and 20 and 20 and 20 years beyond. Bye, all.
Bye-bye.